Hello, everybody. I'm back with a new VBA project. So, this project is going to be pretty huge for me, not necessarily for impact of the world, but I've always had problems with schedules through my years in the military. I don't know if y'all have seen it. All of us military people are familiar with it. It's an Excel document with everybody's name on one side, the days across the top, and then inside that would be like an A. On, let's say, January 1st, it has an A. That means I have an appointment that day. And then if it says off, I'm off that day. Blah, blah. It just, every day has a spot for me to put in an appointment and leave a comment at what time. Something like that. Which, as a pretty picture, works really well. As for updating, depending on if you have those days, if it has an A in there, changing it to yellow automatically. If you do everything on it manually, that works absolutely fine. But if you want to, I don't know, pull any data from that to the display somewhere else, like how many 7 levels are on shift today, how many 5 levels are on shift today, how many people are on leave this today, all that information, um, you know, can't be shown because you don't have any way to capture that because you're doing your schedule all manually. So my proposal is I did something like this a long time ago, but it had issues. A, when I went on leave, people couldn't use it. I could use it just fine, of course, I made it, but people couldn't use it. In my head, it was simple, but apparently it wasn't simple enough. So I'm going to take some of the ideas I had from that time and some of the ideas I have now. And this is all just going to be kind of like I don't know, a spitballing type of thing. None of this is going to be permanent right now until we flesh out all these ideas. And every day I'm going to come up with some kind of idea and see if I can implement it. Well, I started this yesterday. I should say last night. And what you see now is this isn't what the schedule would look like per se, but this would be the table that holds all the data in the schedule, right? This isn't the pretty pictured one that you would see if you were trying to just look at the schedule. This is just a table holding that data, right? And then I have this tester page is just where I'm going to put ideas, right? Or try to flesh out ideas. Like here, right here at this top, this is me coming up with an idea to put in appointments, right? Because currently you would go to this person, find the day, go down, put an A or whatever type of appointment is in that block, right? And then you would change it to a specific color if that's what your section does, which most sections do. Appointments are normally yellow. Leave is normally green or something, you know? Right, so this first idea is to be able to put that in automatically. Well, not automatically, but I just have a little window that pops up. I pick the name, the start and end date, the type of appointment it is, and the time. Hit go, and boom, it puts it in the schedule database, that first section I showed you, into here. Like I said, this is not where the pretty colors will be. This is just where the information is stored, right? That whole pretty pictured one will be like the very last step. And my idea for that right now would be maybe instead of just going to a page and it shows all the entire schedule, maybe you pick, I want to see 60 days. And on the fly, at the moment of clicking OK, it'll build your 60-day schedule off that current table, and that's what you'll have, right? And you can, maybe I just want to see 30 days, I want to see 7 days, or whatever. That's my idea for that. But like I said, that is going to be way off in the future. This is literally step one. That's step 1,000. So like I said, I started this last night. Oh, this app DB tab. All right, so the schedule for what I have for now is going to have to change. But if you had an appointment, it would just show an A. But if you forecasted leave, it would show FLV there. And if the leave has actually been scheduled, it would show SLV, right? There's certain things I still want to display on a schedule besides an A for general appointment. But for now, it's just showing A for general appointment. However, on this app database page, all that information also gets stored here, but with the proper appointment type. It'll say dental, or it'll say medical, or it'll say scheduled leave, right? There's conflicting apps. So I'm just, like I said, spitballing here. I'm assuming that eventually I'm going to have an appointment on this day, and then, this day, let's say, is 3 weeks from now. A couple days from today now, I'm going to schedule another appointment, and it could possibly be on that same day. And if I don't remember, it's just going to plop in a new appointment. I lost the old appointment. Now I just missed my appointment because I overwrote it, not knowing. So this conflict column is where I'm going to try to tackle the what ifs, kind of. How am I going to know if, I have multiple appointments scheduled on one day, right? And then this data tab is literally just that. It's where I'm going to put random information, store random information. These are nameless, for, like I said, nameless, right? Nameless allow me to make these drop down boxes, right? That's some of the type of stuff I'll have on this page. Like I said, this is all spitballing. This all looks ugly. I got it. But the point of this project is to come up with ideas that in the end I can turn into this awesome schedule / personnel tracker kind of thing. It's dummy proof and accurate, and trying to think of the word, but I can't think of it. But like this, I've been an individual in charge of a schedule, and I know several other people in charge of schedules in their work centers, and you would like to just, for lack of better words, shoot yourself half the time, because every day someone wants something else put in the schedule, and it just becomes a nightmare when it comes to ensuring that you have enough people on shift. And you always miss something, and then someone's freaking pissed. That's just the way it is. So this is hopefully some of those pitfalls from having to put things in manually, and every time you change something, making sure it doesn't conflict with something else, trying to make some of those things get caught automatically at the time of changing. That's my whole goal, and it's already been 9 minutes, and I haven't even shown what I got so far. So, long story short, these next several videos will all be about pitching a schedule. Right? So here we go. So you got my schedule page, scheduled database page. This tester page is just going to be random stuff, which will more likely be on like a form that will a pop-up that you would fill out, hit go, and right? That's the kind of stuff that will be on this page for now. Appointment database, this is just where the information for the appointment that you put in is going to get housed that way. I have now something I can pull and display somewhere else, right? And like I said, this data page is just going to be anything that I feel like putting here. Randomness. So okay. So now, so this is what I wrote so far. Last night I wrote this code, and my purpose of this code was to have a way to take information, appointment information, and plop it into this scheduled data section like that. No matter what day I pick, it'll find the date, put in your A here, and then plop in the appointment data, or the appointment data in the database section, right? All right, so let's see how I did. This took me about, 3 hours last night to write. So tester page, gonna pick me. We're just, like I said, I only have January right now on the schedule, so we're gonna say January 2nd, 2019 through, well, we'll just say January 2nd. It's just a 1-day appointment, right? And I'm gonna call it, we'll say it's a dental at 8 in the morning. Oops. 8 in the morning, right? This here is military time in the spot. You still have to put the colon in there, but it's still military time. That's the easiest way to make sure it's AM or PM when it comes to tracking it. Right. All right. So basically, when I run this code, just think as if I had put in a button right here and I click go, right? So if it works properly on my name on this date, I will get a dental appointment at 8 o'clock, right? So my name on the 2nd, right there, I should get an A, and then the information for that should get plopped in here. So let's see how well I do. I'm going to step through it first. All right. So here I'm just collecting my starting data. The beginning of this table, the beginning of that table, it's just collected the data right there. That's all it did. And now it's running through trying to find the start date. See, it found the start date and it highlighted it, right? Now with a thing called active cell, I can make, as you can see right here, it says start equals active cell dot column, right? And now start equals 8, right? What does that 8 mean? Well, columns in code are tracked by numbers, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's just the 8th column over, right? And by doing this active cell type of thing, if I select it, I can then call on this active cell dot column, and it'll tell me my the column that date is in, right? So we'll press on. Now it's doing the same thing. It's looping through the individual's name, and when it finds it, it selects it, right? It selected it. Now I have active cell dot row, right? So what does it do? Equals 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I have the number of the column and the number of the row, right? So now I know where to put this appointment on this schedule, right? Now what it's going to do, it's going to go look in that cell and pop in it. It's going to look if there's something in there already. It's going to let me know. But if there's not, it's just going to put the information in here. And then what it just went through down here, this is to put the actual appointment data on that other page, which I'll show you in just a second. There, the code ran. So, right? So what was my appointment? My name on the 2nd. My name on the 2nd. Got an appointment. Okay, cool. My name on the 2nd. I have a dental at 8. So, appointment database. My name, a dental, on the 2nd. I have appointment at 8. Did it conflict? No. So now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to put some leave in. See what happens. And I'm going to say the leave is from the 5th to the 10th. Oops. I probably, now that I just did that accidentally, at the beginning of my code should make sure the start date is before the stop date, or we could have issues. Okay, so we're gonna schedule it, and of course we're gonna start it at midnight, right? So here we go. Right, it should be fine. I should get A's the 5th through the 10th, or whatever dates I put, right? So here we go. Let's walk through this again. If you hear the clicking, it's me hitting F8, and that moves it through the code. And this way I can control it to see if I get errors, and if I do, to see where they error at. Again, so you've selected its column, it's selected its row. And now it's going to plop in the data if there isn't anything in there. Which it is doing now. And we're done. So, right? What did I put in there? From the 5th to the 10th, I should have scheduled leave. Like I said, I'm going to have this. Eventually, if it's leave or something, certain other ones, it's not, instead of an A, it's going to say SLV or FLV or whatever. So, the 5th through the 10th, I now have an appointment, right? App data. Me, scheduled leave, 5th through the 10th, starting at midnight. Right? And no conflict. Golden, right? Next, let's just say now I have a medical on the 7th. 7th? Medical, 9 in the morning. Let's see what happens now. F8. Yep, found the 7th. Now it's going to find the personnel row, which it's already on because, well. Alright. So, what did it just find? On the 7th, Elston Michael already has a medical schedule. Hit OK. That's just information at this point. Nothing has happened besides it told me, hey, I already have something scheduled. Did I say medical? I gotta change that. Yeah. That's wrong. It shouldn't have told me what I currently trying to schedule. It should just say currently already has an appointment scheduled, right? So, okay, again, like I said, we got just information. Now it got done looking to see if I have appointments. Now it says, do you want to overwrite previous conflicting appointments? Yes. This scheduled part not going to make a difference, right? It's still going to show an A, assuming that I didn't have this say scheduled leave, whatever. If I say yes, right, this isn't going to change. You're still going to have an A there. But I'm going to say yes, right? So now I was going to say, if I answered yes, all right, let's put your schedule on there, and then we got to flag it saying, hey, there's a conflict with this appointment, right? Because I didn't change anything. There's all, I guess maybe now that I'm looking at it again today, with this as well, it's cool, but maybe when it also plops it, oh, well, it is what it is. Well, I can. Because if I'm going to build, like, previous when I did this, right, I used something called VLOOKUP. You don't need to know what it is, but I can go to any block, right? Let's say this block, and go in this table, find this person's name into this column, and give me whatever in that column, right? And it would display an A right here, right? The problem with VLOOKUP is I had to put that code in on another page 365 times that way. So VLOOKUP basically would look up every day for me. And that way, if let's say I swapped me for somebody else, I changed the name here, and then all that person's information would show up here and mine would disappear, right? Cool, worked well. That was one of the issues though, as far as usability. But if I build a schedule in code, each time you want to see a pretty schedule, it's going to be a pain in the ass, but a good challenge. I don't need to do VLOOKUP. I literally would have to look here, all right, in this table, or whatever heck I want to call this database of appointments. And if I'm filling out my person, do any of these dates fall between the dates that I'm building in the schedule? And then if they do, then I can have it say dental, SLV, right? But the purpose of the data, like the tracking side of appointments, no, I don't care what type of appointment it is. I just need to know if you have one. Now, I could get rid of this completely and just use this and build appointments just looking between dates and stuff, which I don't know. Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe this whole scheduled thing here is pointless. I don't know. We'll get there when we get there. But that's it. So first step was to have a way to put in appointments without manually putting in appointments. Right? Done. Check that box. The next step, I guess I'll try to change a shift, which at this point doesn't make much sense. But when I build the schedule, every time you want to see it, if someone's changed shifts, then you want them to show on a different shift when you build a schedule. Now, the next problem, right? The old schedule, I would go to this day and I would write in, say I currently have me on nights, right? Here I would write days, right? That would signify on the schedule that on that day I'm working days, I'm not on swings. It's a pain in the ass. People miss it. People get confused, especially when you go on night shift because they're supposed to be at work. This day, this night right here, not this night. So it gets confusing. However, if like appointment database here, if I have a shift change database, I can start tracking things like this. And put, on the 6th through the 9th, Elston will be on days, right? And it'll track the same as this. It'll just be name, shift, and then what day. I don't need to know the time. Shifts are ran by time already, right? And all that's going to do, right, if it has a start date, I'll have a current shift and projected shift column too, right? So if there's only a start date, when you on that day, it'll automatically change you from swings to days, in my case, right? And that's it. That's all she wrote. Just changes my day or my block on this thing to days. That's all it does. Good to go. So when I build a schedule out of this data, I think, or I don't know. How I'm going to build a schedule, I don't know yet. And it's troubling me, as you can tell. Right? So this changes to days, right? But if it's a start date and an end date, if it has a start date and an end date, from the start date to the end date, it'll go to the projected shift. However, let's just say this is it. However, on the 11th, it'll change me back to my current shift. Does that make sense? Right? So if there's only a start date, it just gives me a new current date, or current shift, basically. And if there's a start and an end, I then have a current and a projected. So it'll change me to my projected shift for that time period, and then when that time period is over, it'll swap me back. And basically, this type of thing, the code would run every time you open up the schedule. Every time you open up this Excel document, I'll have code running, and then when it's done, then you can use it. But it'll make all these changes first. I think, yeah. For now, step 1, schedules into the schedule database with a form. Got it done. Tracking conflicts, kind of. I think it's working. But alright, I'm done. That was a 28-minute video and I didn't really show you much. Later.